use 3D glasses provided by Telcast International to experience the 3D feeling. Beautiful scenery right up close for the first time, just as in reality. Join us on our extraordinary three-dimensional journey and keep your 3D glasses at the ready. As soon as you see the 3D logo appear in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, take a look through your 3D glasses and discover a fascinating three-dimensional view. Western Australia is a land of geographic enormity and natural wonder. Australia belongs to the oldest landmass in the world. Some 100 million years ago, a huge piece broke away from the indigenous continent called Gondwana, and so isolated Australia, preserving a face which has not changed for more than 1 million years. And this is exactly what Western Australia is all about. The existing civilization is not all that impressive, yet the country's flora and fauna is phenomenal. The saltwater crocodile is the most dangerous and spectacular animal of Western Australia. There are few places in the world where one feels the freedom and solitude that characterize this continent. The outback begins just beyond the shore patrol. The outback is a remote bush area with few inhabitants. Millions of square meters of dry, flat landscape, desert savannas, steppe and meager pastureland abound. Settlements are scarce to non-existent, with the exception of a few cattle farms. Natural wonders are the real treat in Western Australia. Nature's different tempers have created fascinating forms on the Earth's surface. Bungle Bungles, or Pinnacle Desert, are two spectacular examples. Breathtaking sights are Western Australia's trademark. The modern Western Australia has Perth as its capital. One of the most remote metropolises in the world, Perth attracts tourists from all over the world. The city is a melting pot of cultures and races, combined with the easygoing Australian manner. Western Australia is a perfect destination for the adventurous traveller. If a club resort vacation is what you're looking for, Australia would definitely be the wrong place to visit.
Welcome to Cable Beach Club.
Luxurious hotels are hard to come by, but a wonder-filled vacation of exploration and adventure can certainly be expected. The marvellous Perth skyline makes the end-of-the-world locale one confident city. The industrial and cultural centre of Western Australia lies only 15 kilometres away from the west coast of the Swan River. Around 1.4 million Western Australians live in Perth, which makes up 1/3 of the region's total population. The port city of Fremantle has preserved a traditional aesthetic. The first settlers of Western Australia came here by boat in 1829. The white colonisers met the Aborigines, Western Australia's indigenous people, for the first time. That was the beginning of the darkest period in Australian history. Slavery of the Aborigines continued for about 200 years. During that time period, outright genocide and gross human rights abuses were carried out against the Aborigines, including the theft of their sacred lands and denial of ownership rights. The adoption of an Act of Parliament in 1960 finally gave Aborigines British status and privileges. Over time, Aboriginal culture has gained recognition. In the small city of Broome, Aboriginal tradition is still alive and is slowly adopting elements of modern life. Every year in August, the Day of the Pearl is celebrated. It's a multicultural event which brings together Aborigines and Asians, uniting culture in a fascinating spectacle. The best time to visit Western Australia is the European winter, with summertime in Australia, the land down under. The coastline of Western Australia is 12,000 kilometres long, with wide sandy beaches, appropriate for every kind of water sport. The queen of water sports here is no doubt surfing. Tourism is developing slowly at the western part of the Red Continent. Western Australia is still considered to be a sleepy tourist destination. And yet, in such a remote part of the country, times are changing. Coral Bay is the hometown of Jasmine and Catherine. Both are diving teachers and have never seen a paradise as beautiful as Western Australia. Coral Bay is the base station of the Ningaloo Reef, the longest edge reef in the world. The diving boat of the two mermaids came looking for mantas today, which can be found in the shallow water of Coral Bay. Jasmine has been living here for more than 10 years now. She's a passionate underwater photographer.
My father, brought me up along the ocean, so I've always had that background. And the fact that I've just continued working out there, I've just gained so much knowledge by watching.
Her camera is always ready in her luggage, ready to capture the fabulous wealth of the underwater world of Ningaloo. The Ningaloo Reef may not be as popular as the Great Barrier Reef, but has the same kind of corals and equivalent fish diversity. About 180 corals and more than 460 fish species have been identified. The entire reef and the adjoining coast environment were declared nature preserves in 1987. For Jasmine and Catherine, it's the best job ever. A coral garden with a length of more than 260 kilometres spreads along the coast, one of Australia's countless natural wonders, not to mention the endless photo opportunities.
There's not many reefs around the world that are fairly untouched by people's impact, environmental damage. And here we are really lucky that our reef is still in pristine condition, and we are fairly isolated, so we don't get people coming here.
Mantas belong to the manta ray family and are at home in tropical waters. The mantas can slip weightlessly through the water with a span of 7 meters and can weigh up to 7 tons. When mantas prepare their water ballet, it's a sign that they are feeding. They keep their mouths open like a barn door. Freely swimming crabs or a school of small fish, everything gets swallowed up. Such a sight is rare to see.
We're really lucky. So Coral Bay has manta rays all year round. I'm just lucky to be out there every day with the ocean. And then the fact that I get to have these amazing encounters, I love just capturing these moments which are just so amazing that many people wouldn't get to see.
Jasmine and her parents moved to Coral Bay some 10 years ago. It used to be a small village with just a handful of residents. This hippie area quickly became a fascinating international insider tip, known for its gorgeous diving scene. And Jasmine is one of the area's best-known daughters. Her photos have already won prizes. Every time that Jasmine drives her four-wheeler along the only street of Coral Bay, people recognize the good-looking young blonde.
One day I was helping a lady in the water, and she said along the lines of, you're like she called me the dolphin girl, and it's tend to be one of the names that's stuck ever since. I've lived with the ocean, I couldn't be without it. I tried living sort of in big cities once, but never again.
I don't think she needs to try city life. Otherwise, Coral Bay would be a lot less attractive. The rocks known as the Kimberleys are more than 2,500 million years old. Today, tour guide Bob Parsons is going to show us the so-called Bungle Bungles in the National Park of Punalulu.
Hundreds of millions of years ago, there was a huge river system running from the northwestern end through, bringing sediment down with it. The erosion program with the wind and the rain and all the elements gradually eroded away into what you see here today.
On the way to the national park, Bob drops some visitors off at the airport. The runway of the Punalulu National Airport is some 500 meters long, and it seems to have been constructed in a rush.
Hello, I'm Tony,
Hi, I'm Angela.
and we are holidaying around Australia in our own plane.
The IT expert from Melbourne is with his aeroplane club on a tour of Australia with the Piper Comanches. It's a wonderful one-engine aeroplane from the 70s. They pay the Kimberleys a visit every year. Flying in Australia is not unusual, and the Bungle Bungles are worth a visit every time. The Bungle Bungle's gracious elegance starts to unfold from above, from the air. The erosion cut through the differently coloured stone layers, and as a result, thousands of striated hills developed.
It was terrific. It was quite a lot of years ago, and the Bungle Bungles, you see a lot in a short time, and you just see it from a totally different aspect.
The different and fascinating colours in these hills developed in part through layers of bacteria. For example, honeycomb lines the astrodomes up on the hill.
I love it. I mean, to me, the flying is the best part. The actual seeing things is terrific also, but to me, the flying is the best part. Aeroplanes are in my blood. Can't get them out.
My name's Carl and I'm from England.
I'm Claire and I'm from South Africa. We're backpacking around Australia.
We've run out of money. We're looking for a job. Maybe we'll find something here.
Australia is the perfect destination for backpackers. It combines the uniqueness of adventure, amusement, and Western civilization. Jobs can be found around every corner. For instance, at Bob's East Kimberley Bush Camp.
Work in the morning and then
Australia was a dream. I've heard a lot about it and I've seen documentaries on Australia. I would like to live here. Yes, if I could.
It's a beautiful place. It's very diverse, very big. There's lots of stuff to see. But there's a lot of places to get drunk and have a good time.
Long working hours are not expected. On a day off, Bob will take his new employees to the national park and show them the glory Bungle Bungles. About 30 years ago, this region was neither interesting nor popular. In 1987, the United States announced the protection of a huge area of 3,000 square kilometers. It has since been made available for tourism.
I was raised in the mountains in Tasmania, and I thought I'd seen all the hills and mountains that I ever wanted to see, but when I got here the first time, the place absolutely blew me away. After 7 years of working in this place, it still fascinates me. It's still things new to see.
The road to the Bungle Bungles is very long and arduous, but the panoramic view is really worth it. It takes 2 lonely hours by plane from the Kununurra to the isolated northern coast. Rocky Terry's Kimberley Coastal Camp lies directly on the coast of Admiralty Gulf. He owns a camp base there, but unfortunately, the visitor count is not all that high. Visitors' bills are relatively low, but he easily manages to get by. What he gets in the trawl is chopped off and used as bait for dinner. That means one thing: waiting. But not for long. Rocky is the lucky fisherman today. Very soon he's going to capture a big barramundi. It's considered a challenge for every fisherman, as barramundi fight back.
Now this one is too big, really, to eat, and it's probably just about a female, so I'm going to let it go.
Rocky looks rather sadly at his booty. The barramundi was simply overfished.
There you go. There she goes. Beautiful.
Rocky and his wife built up the Kimberley's coastal camp all by themselves. Some years ago, they turned their backs on civilization. Liz orders provisions through a radio transmitter. The things needed for the camp are produced 2,000 kilometres away.
What's more urgent than anything else is the beer and the wine, so put that as number one. Have a nice night and hi to the others, and talk to you in the morning. Cheers.
Yeah, take it easy.
What we've done now is lose 4 cartons of soft drinks, apart from the meat. That's gone too. It's always a big drama if you need things. Is it going to fit in the helicopter? Or sometimes we wait 6 months, sometimes we wait a year for something to turn up. It's the price that we pay for living in such a great place.
Today we've got everything except the meat. Rocky and Liz hurry on their way to the helicopter. At Kimberley's there are numerous air companies which supply the widespread settlements. A life down here without the provision supply would be impossible. Rocky's still annoyed about not catching any fish this morning. He wants to give it another try. This time, he wants to go to the sea.
Just use these as bait to attract the crabs.
Rocky catches the crabs with a sink-down trawl. He wants to attract them with something special, to make them just fall in the trap effortlessly. A few day-old fish heads are just what the doctor ordered. The mud crabs live in the mud of the mangrove river, and Rocky knows exactly how to get them.
It's good water for crabbing now. The crabs have just been starting to come off the banks. We dig holes in the banks, and when the tide's out and when the tide comes in, they all start coming off.
To be able to find them again when water levels rise, Rocky marks them with a plastic can. Then it takes a little while, but waiting for too long is not advisable. You know the saying, time waits for no man.
The only thing we've got to worry about, be concerned of, is that a crocodile might come along and start taking the baits out of the net and the crabs. So hopefully he won't come. Munched. 3 big crabs. 1 mud crab. Into the bin.
That afternoon, Liz took us on a short tour. She wanted to show us something. During one of her short wanders around the area, she found traces of earlier inhabitants in a hidden cliff.
Well, the most fascinating thing about these is that they were painted when Europe was under 5 metres of ice. when Europe was virtually non-existent as Europe is now, there were people here painting the most sophisticated paintings like this. This is probably a ceremonial panel, so they would have been dressed up and dancing and just having a wonderful time. But this is 3 times as old as the art in the Egyptian pyramids.
Liz is amazed by the old art masters. She's confident about the findings, as the possession of such pieces of near-ancient human history would guarantee a lot of visitors in the future. Evening falls early on the coastal camp. Liz and Rocky are back, and Rocky won't let anyone but him prepare the catch. He carefully gets the crabs out of the swag, watching out not to get a toe nip. The end is short and painless. In about 4 minutes, the delicacy is ready. After the sunset on the Admiralty Gulf, Rocky and Liz know for sure that the coastal camp is their new home. The breathtaking scenery and cosy camp location is something they don't want to miss anymore.
Don't breathe, Jack.
Malcolm Douglas, a TV star who shoots many documentaries and animal films, knows the entire bush location better than anyone in the area.
There you go, mate.
In his hometown, he's known as Broome, or G'day mate, and treated with respect. Malcolm is a bushman, one of the last Australian heroes who still has wild adventures. The outback is full of adventure. Saltwater crocodiles, also known as boots trap stretcher crocodiles, live in the rivers of northern Australia. They are among the biggest and most dangerous in the world. Usually they are 4 to 5 meters long. In some cases they can reach 7 meters. Fish are their main food, but sometimes cattle or humans can become victims of their voracious appetites.
Crocodile survived the dinosaur era. He's unchanged for 120 million years. He's wild like me. You can't tame a crocodile.
The saltwater crocodile, or salty, is widespread in northern Australia. It lives in brackish water near the coast and can get up to 80 kilometers inland. But in other cases, it can be found in the middle of the sea.
Our saltwater crocodile is the biggest and most dangerous of all the crocodiles. You don't have to worry about the crocodile that you can see. You only worry about the crocodile that you can't see. They just stay under the water and they might stay there for weeks. And if you go too close to the water, bang, they've got you. Crocodiles kill more people than any other animal. Nearly 500 people a year are killed by crocodiles. Most people want to kill crocodiles, but that is wrong. The crocodile is a dominant species in the river system. How's it going, Greg? You know that croc we've been trying to catch for a while? Down the single pen. We better go and have another go at it, I think.
In the early 1970s, the crocodiles were progressively killed and brought to the brink of extinction. People considered crocodiles the enemy. Crocodile hunters travelled around the country with their plunder and earned a tidy profit. Malcolm used to be one of those hunters.
Come on! When I was young and I was hunting crocodiles, I was very silly. I was stupid. I used to dive in and pick up crocodiles that were still wounded. I should have died many times. But now that I'm working with crocodiles, I understand them. Anyone working for me, I say, if you stop being frightened of crocodiles, you can leave. I'm still frightened of them because they are so dangerous.
Hunters turned saviours. Malcolm was the first crocodile saviour, and also the one who in 1971 applied to make crocodiles a protected species. To date, there are about 100,000 crocodiles living in the rivers of Australia.
This young male crocodile is 15 years old and is old enough to go in with his girlfriend, and hopefully they'll breed at Christmas time and they should live together for about 80 years.
The egg-laying season is at the end of the rainy period. In his farm, Malcolm breeds crocodiles in a wholesale fashion. Today, crocodiles are being exported worldwide. Their meat is considered a delicacy. Organic fertilizer is extracted from their bowels, and their bones are used to produce exotic jewellery.
This is a saltwater crocodile, one of the most dangerous of all the crocodiles. They grow about 1 metre a year. The biggest and most dangerous of all the reptiles.
I am really worried about Bobby. This male kangaroo, the so-called Big Red, likes very much to compete with his lord. And according to Malcolm, he's of a certain kind of kangaroo that is sometimes even more dangerous than crocodiles.
Be nice. Be nice.
By the time they all love each other again, we can get a cup of tea and a traditional bush barbecue. Malcolm's favourite dish is, of course, crocodile stew.